this evening to our certification question and answer webinar. We are thrilled to be here with you tonight. We all love talking about EFT and certification. You're going to hear a lot of passionate voices tonight, and I'm so excited to get to share that with you because this journey is meaningful to all of us, and sharing it with you is part of what makes that so rewarding for us. So thank you for being here with us tonight. As you see us on your screen, we would like to communicate with you through the chat. So if you know how YouTube works, then you've got it down. If you don't, then notice on your screen where it says live chat. You can type something in there. We are monitoring it. When you have questions, we've got a period of time where we're going to pop those up, but you don't have to wait to ask your question. If you've already got them, toss them in there. We might even answer them as we go along. But before we get into what we're going to tell you, I want to know more about you. I would love to know where you are in the world as you're joining us here. I would love to know what brought you to be here with us tonight. What insights have you gotten as you've been looking through, trying to decide what you're going to do about certification? Tell us your stories. We like to be able to picture you, to send thoughts and energy your way. So it's always a gift to us, anything that you feel comfortable putting into the chat. We will get started here in just a few minutes. We want to honor the time that you're spending with us. We know that we have people from all around the world join. So sometimes people are, oh, it's 2 a.m. where I am, or thank you so much. That's a beautiful dedication. I will let you know just how the evening's going to kind of roll out. And then I will introduce Dr. Church for you to hear from tonight. How we're going to do tonight is you're going to get a big view into what certification is, and specifically what it means for EFT Universe. We have a lot of really beautiful standards that produce really great outcomes for our practitioners. So you're going to hear all about that tonight. I'm going to give you all the details that you're wondering and that you're curious about as far as payments go. And any questions that are found lingering, like I said, we will answer those towards the end. Let's see. Oh, and you're going to get to hear from Dr. Church himself here in just a minute, but you're also going to get to meet, if you haven't already met him before, Kurt Anderson, who is our Director of Education. The role he plays in your certification, particularly in completion, is key. And I'll brag about that later if he doesn't mention it when he talks to you. And then we have behind the scenes. I just want to throw out a quick thank you to Seth and Tim. They are the wizards behind the curtain that make sure that we're all able to stay connected here tonight. So if you want to drop just a quick thank you to them, they really appreciate being able to show up here for you as well, even though you don't get to see their faces. And if I forgot to mention it, I'm Amanda, where you'll mostly see me, and my involvement with EFT Universe is on the YouTube channel. So if you were wondering, but who are you? Now you know. But getting into the man of the hour, I want to give this introduction of Dr. Church because you may know bits and pieces of who he is and the dedication that he's had. But I love sharing because he's pretty bad at bragging on himself. So every time I get a chance, I like to express to you the depth of his commitment to this program. So you probably already know he's the author of several best-selling books. You've likely heard of The Genie in Your Genes and Bliss Brain, but he's also the founder of the National Institute of Integrative Healthcare, or the NIIH. Now, the NIIH's largest program is the Veteran Stress Solution. Now, the Veteran Stress Solution offers free treatment to veterans, and to date has offered free treatment for over 22,000 veterans with PTSD. Dr. Church is truly driven by a passion to give practical solutions to ease suffering of many people. And this is well recognized. He shared the stage with some of the top transformational leaders of our time, including Dr. Joe Dispenza, Marianne Williamson, Tony Robbins, Donna Eden, David Asprey, Jack Canfield, and few others. He's also played a role in over 100 scientific studies. Now, this is across the board in energy psychology and EFT. In fact, he's even been invited twice to testify before the U.S. Congressional Committee. But as far as tonight goes, as CEO of EFT Universe, he manages the largest and most popular EFT training and certification organization in the world. He's trained over 5,000 practitioners in this setting and counting, including you already have a strong cohort of people going through this training that we are enrolling currently. The training that EFT Universe does holds such high standards that it's accredited for continuing education for medical and mental health professionals through the American Medical Association. They've also allowed such a foundation of trust because of the standards held at EFT Universe, that it's played a central role in bringing energy therapies into primary care settings like the Veterans Administration and the Kaiser Healthcare System. These are big names, guys. To be able to get energy work into these systems, they require a lot of proof, a lot of clinical validation. And you'll learn more about that as the night goes on. But enough of my bragging. I'm going to let Dr. Church talk to you himself. Dr. Dawson Church.
Oh, Amanda, thank you so much. And thank you for your great energy as well. And you'll find people in our wonderful community have this amazing energy, like Amanda and the other people you'll meet in EFT Universe. And, you know, I do these things. We all do these things. I could have done none of these things without our community of people in EFT Universe and energy psychology who collaborate, who work together to make all the magic happen. And among those are our certified practitioners. And it's just such a privilege to be part of this community of intention, of high energy, of effective work with other people. We work with huge numbers of people every year, and we make an enormous difference in their lives. That's what the research is, just cataloging and measuring. So all those studies, I'm just measuring what our practitioners are actually doing and the difference they're making in people's lives. And so I have a passion for bringing this to the world and bringing it to the world in a credible way. If you have studies in peer-reviewed medical journals, and you have meta-analyses, and you have academic teams validating a therapy, it is much more impactful than even the most talented person freelancing by themselves. So we got that with EFT, clinical EFT, which we teach at EFT Universe. And that's made all the difference over the last 20 or 30 years. It's just such a vastly different world today than it was decades ago, because decades ago, we were regarded, energy therapy was just totally on the fringe. I remember when I was doing some of the preparatory work for Gene in Your Genes in the 1980s and talking to doctors and people in the whole field of genetics about the possibility that one day we might measure genetic change through energy therapies. They were like, that'll never happen. But we get the last laugh because now we're showing that if you meditate, if you tap, if you use advanced energy psychology skills, you don't just see a little bit of change, you see massive change. You see people who have been traumatized for years shedding their trauma and dropping all kinds of obstacles to their well-being. So we used to be regarded as fringe medicine. Now we are doing presentations. We've done over 20 presentations at the Cleveland Clinic. We've done presentations at Johns Hopkins. We have done presentations at Harvard Medical School. I have done presentations myself at Walter Reed, the biggest military base in the US. I've done grand rounds at Kaiser Permanente. So the whole setting for EFT and this training we offer has changed radically in the last while as a result of the quality of what we do and the fact that it's empirically validated with all that research. I was so struck to be talking to a practitioner recently, and she said, most of my clients come to me because I'm really curious, like, how do clients come to you? We find these practitioners who have abundant practices, and I asked them, well, where do your clients come from? And this particular practitioner said, doctors. I get most of my referrals from MDs, from doctors. And I talked to her a bit more, and she said, and not only that, many of my clients are doctors. Doctors telling doctors about how great EFT is, and then they come to me for sessions. So it's really powerful to see how we've moved into the healing mainstream, and we'll train you in certification in how to talk to doctors, how to talk to hospital administrators, how to talk to insurance companies, how to talk to nurses and psychotherapists and people in mental health in a way that makes sense and interfaces with them as part of the care team of people you're working with. The other big change that's happened in the last 15 or so years is the financial reward of being part of this magnificent profession. People used to be so afraid to ask money and ask for what they were worth when they were offering their services. And so they were timid about charging. Now, a lot of our practitioners are charging a lot of money for their services, and they're producing such results for their clients that they are getting that people are delighted to pay those amounts. I asked one practitioner, whose name was John Prentice. He charges a flat $1,000 to help people quit smoking. I said, John, $1,000, it's a lot of money. He said, it's a lot less than what they spend on cigarettes in a year. I said, but John, what if, it takes you 10 sessions to help that person tap away their cigarette habit? And he says, oh no, it takes me one session. I said, one session? He said, it very rarely takes 2 sessions or more to release a cigarette craving. So it's a great bargain for the person who's been released from their craving, and it really remunerates the practitioner well. Another person I tapped with a friend of mine in San Francisco in the last part of the last decade of the 20th century. So she was around 2008, and she was so nervous because she was raising her rates. She said, Dawson, if I raise my rates from $60 an hour to $75 an hour, I'm afraid I'll lose all my clients. So I tapped with her and said, okay, let's tap on that. That's a tappable issue. So we tapped on the feelings in her body and all her fears around this. I went on her website recently, and her rate is now $375 an hour, 10 years later. And she has a full practice. You have to make an appointment a long way out to even get to see her at that rate, because she is so effective. She's able to have an effect on people's well-being that's dramatic, and they're happy to pay her those rates. Another one of our practitioners has done a whole lot of classes at the Kaiser Permanente Medical System, and they're happy to pay her to do things like stress reduction classes, healthy aging classes, maternity classes, and it's part of their care system, and they pay her well for doing those classes. So there are all kinds of ways in which the respect that clinical EFT practitioners trained and certified by EFT Universe get in the whole healthcare system, and it's reflected in the money they make. And I'm just delighted we've lost that old poverty mentality. But if you still have it, don't worry, because we have a whole bunch of tapping sessions we offer you in certification to get rid of any fears you have around offering your services at what they're worth. And this is also really valuable in today's uncertain economic climate, because you've heard about all the layoffs in various industries, big tech layoffs that have been happening in the last few months, job insecurity. One Gallup poll that measures workplace engagement found that a lot of people aren't engaged. More than half of the people in the workforce are semi-engaged with their work, or it's called presenteeism, not absenteeism. They're showing up there. They're at their workplace. Mentally, they're somewhere else. They're absent. And that's presenteeism. They're there, but they're not there. They're totally disengaged from their work. And so you don't find that at EFT Universe. You won't find disengaged people here, and you won't find disengaged practitioners here. Also, demand for the services of our practitioners is through the roof. The American Psychiatric Association reported that starting with COVID, and then in each subsequent year, demand for mental health services, referrals to mental health professionals, and people in the space has doubled. So enormous opportunity is here. And as there are recessions, as the economy goes into a downturn, guess what happens? People's anxiety increases. There's even more demand for mental health services. Another friend of mine, she was in a high-profile magazine publishing job in New York, making a six-figure income. She said, Dawson, I'm so nervous. I train as a Reiki practitioner. I train as a clinical EFT practitioner certified by EFT Universe. But how will I ever replace that salary I got on Madison Avenue? And within a couple of years, she was right back at that same income level. So you're investing in yourself, and you're investing in the huge benefits it brings to you personally. You're also supported by the community. And you'll find that when you go to these classes and you attend the live calls, you make friends. We'll hear from a few of the people who are at live classes or who are in our certification program in a few minutes. And you'll find you're making these remarkable leaps in your own well-being. I know I divide my life into Dawson 1.0 before EFT and meditation, Dawson 2.0 after EFT and meditation. Making that commitment to meditation and to tapping radically shifted my entire career. I had no idea when I did that I would be doing this one day, and I am. And it's helped me through all kinds of grief, losing my parents, my parents dying, and all kinds of upheaval in the outer world. I mean, there's the news and there are all these things going on that can upset us, but you are solid if you have these techniques. Even if you read my book, This Brain, even in the fire, it's actually 6 years, almost to the day today, that the Tubbs fire swept through the valley I lived in and destroyed everything in its path. 5,400 homes were lost that night, and those families rendered homeless. And it produced enormous upheaval in our whole community, in our whole part of the world for many, many years. And we lost our home in moments. We just barely escaped. My wife and I barely escaped before the fire consumed our home. And so I found myself with those 5,400 families really displaced and really traumatized for a while, about 24 hours. We were tapping, we were meditating, and it's not like we had a miraculous recovery in 24 hours. I mean, we had to do serious work. I had to go do therapy around that. I had to get energy therapies around it. But we were resilient people because of all this, and we were able to recover. And Amanda, I love the stories you tell too about the differences made in your life. I'd love to have you share one of those right now.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will share my first story because it's one of the most impactful. So I had been diagnosed with complex PTSD, and I was already a practitioner of healing, and it helped a lot of people, but I just figured I was broken. You know, I was managing what I was dealing with rather than healing it. And I thought that was the best that I could do. I had heard of EFT, but I had not engaged with it until I went to a workshop as part of my certification training. And it took those 5 days, and I had a world of difference in my own perception of my empowerment, what was going on with my brain, how I wasn't broken, how I could heal. And I began applying all of these principles of the clinical EFT processes. And 4 months later, I was in a foreign country with a language that I don't know. My cell phone was broken, and I was lost, but I felt okay. And I was able to look at my surroundings and say, but I'm fine, and I'll find my group fairly easily, or they will find me. To explain why this is so impactful, 4 months earlier, when I attended this workshop, I didn't feel safe anywhere. I was so overcome with trauma that I constantly was holding my breath, waiting for an attack to happen, even when there was nothing in my environment inspiring, these feelings of terror. But when I was in an actual situation that could be dangerous, I, for the first time in my life, was able to pay attention to just what was happening around me. I wasn't experiencing anything of my past. I wasn't in a triggered state. And I was able to just deal with the situation at an appropriate level. I was finally a functional human being.
I'm thinking, as you say that, Amanda, of Amanda in one direction and Amanda in the other path, and what you might still be struggling with if you hadn't learned EFT, hadn't learned that emotional regulation, hadn't learned to handle those challenges. And that's what this does, it makes us resilient. And the person that struggled before we learned these techniques, after a while, that person just fades away, and you are that resilient, empowered human being, even when you're dealing with really big issues in your life. Now, one of the things we defined this in 2009, was clinical EFT, defining what is EFT. Clinical EFT is 48 distinct techniques, and we train you in certification in all 48 techniques. And so you know when you are dealing with people with dissociation, you're dealing with people with schizophrenia, you're dealing with people with buried memories they can't surface. Maybe they even have pre-verbal memories that happened before they had language. Maybe you're dealing with people with pre-birth trauma. What do you do? So you need those 48 techniques. Now, simple EFT is fine, but you need the skills of clinical EFT and those 48 techniques to deal with a lot of challenging situations. And I was so struck when I was starting this training program in 2009 by how much poorly informed EFT was out there. People hadn't read the manuals, they hadn't taken the courses, they hadn't got certified, and they were tapping in the wrong places, they were missing cues from their clients, they were introducing methods that weren't really effective, weren't really research proven. So having that method that's bulletproof, you know, if you do this, you are highly likely to get this result, because we've shown that in study after study with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. That's the beauty of having a known and validated method. So you have to use and know the correct protocol for the situation that confronts you. And Amanda, you really moved me when you told me about the teenage girls you've worked with, where you were using EFT with them and the difference it made in their lives. I'd love to have you share that with us.
Yes, of course. So I call it my summer of teenagers. I still am, it's a bit of a mystery how it all happened. Just kind of out of the woodwork, I had suddenly a bunch of clientele of young women. They were adults, but barely so. They were all teenagers. And this was at the point of the pandemic where everything was really getting shut down. And it was really hard on their lives. You know, they felt like they had just gotten started and now everything was over. And when they came to me in such a headspace that I was very concerned with the language that they were using. It was very much leaning towards, you know, end of life ideation. So when I went into certification, this was something that I was really concerned about. You know, I had worries of what will I do if I have someone sitting in front of me, depending on me, can I help them at that point? And this was shortly after I graduated. I hadn't been certified for very long, but I didn't feel anything but confidence as I led these young women, because I knew what signs to look for and what clues they were giving me in their own bodies. I knew what protocols to use. I could lean on the instruction I had been given. And I had already done so many sessions. I wasn't worried about, oh, what's my next step? I already had gathered some muscle memory and guiding people through sessions. And the way that it ended was the best way possible. They all fired me, but they fired me for the right reason. Their concerns went away very quickly. It was between 3 and 6 sessions each, and they went along feeling a lot of hope and a lot of excitement for their lives, and they still do to this day.
And I again think of where they would have been when they were contemplating suicide without this tool. And we hear these tragic stories of people who do commit suicide or who attempt suicide. They don't have these resources. And actually, some of you may have heard the story of mine that I tell sometimes about a friend of mine way back that same year, 2009, who did commit suicide. And after he did commit suicide, I then was at one point working with his girlfriend who was suicidal. And I was able to help her reduce all of the anxiety she was feeling, and she was able to calm down and began to thrive. But it's a life and death difference we can make in people's lives sometimes by sharing tapping with them and showing them how to tap and helping them get relief from their trauma. To watch a veteran or an emergency worker or a healthcare worker just release all of those layers of trauma is a powerful thing to witness. I know sometimes after my workday, I go back home and talk to my wife and I say, darling, guess what happened this today? And I tap with this person, this is what happened. And it's just incredibly empowering to see people shedding those layers of trauma every day. And this is your life, this is your career, you get paid for this. And you're making this difference in people's lives. And I know we are making a dent. We, not just us in the EFT universe, people who are in energy therapies and healing are making a dent in the suffering of the world. And so let's just do a little bit of tapping for a few moments here and just contemplate that process of letting go of our suffering and doing what we can for the suffering of people around us. So tap on the side of your hand, start out of here, side of hand point. Feel your breath. Just notice your shoulders and neck and body. Are you holding any tension there and let it go? And just as I say these words, you can either repeat them out loud or you can just reflect on them in your mind. There is a lot of trauma in the world. And traumatized people cause trauma to people around them. What can I do about this? What can I do to help? What can I do to help with the overwhelming trauma in the world we find ourselves in? Feel your breath again. Notice your breathing pattern as you tap. Tap on the top of your head again. All the trauma, all the suffering, overwhelming suffering. Traumatized people traumatizing other people. Wounded people wounding other people. Perpetuating this cycle of violence in the human race, on the planet. Eyebrow point. All this trauma, side of your eyes. All this trauma under your eyes. I'm just one little person. What can I do? What can I do? I'm just one little person. I can't make a change in all the suffering in the world. Or maybe I can. Perhaps me releasing my suffering can help those around me. Feel your breath again. And who knows where those effects might spread. So even though there's trauma in the world, I take care of the trauma in me. I release it. I do not project it. And by being a light and a force for good and compassion, I influence the world around me. As I release my trauma. Okay, take a deep breath. Doesn't it feel good to just move into that space where you release that? I know when we do that, we find ways of making an impact in the world around us. Like EFT Universe in this last month has trained many therapists and psychologists in Ukraine. We're training people in Ukraine free of charge to offer EFT to people who are traumatized, people who are refugees, people who are fighting. And we're going to go ahead and do that after the Ukraine war, Russia war. We're going to go do the same thing in Russia. The Ukrainian people aren't too keen on hearing us say that, but we are. We want. I mean, we're just committed to seeing these things get to the world, both through our nonprofit and through EFT Universe. So it's powerful to release that trauma, but it begins by releasing the trauma inside of you. You're going to get triggered if you don't, and so a lot of EFT, a lot of the certification process is clearing all of those things from yourself. And after I have Kurt up here for a moment to share the content of certification, we'll do a little bit of focus on that. Again, we'll be answering all your questions as well. So you can drop them into the comments box. We'll answer them. We'll answer every question you might have. We'll put links for you there as well to where you can find the resources you need. But I'd love to introduce a wonderful human being, our Director of Education, Kurt Anderson, and he manages this really immense training and certification program with many mentors, hundreds of students, cohorts of people starting twice a year in their training, going through, moving and graduating every year. And I just had a real delight to work with him. So Kurt, over to you, and thank you so much for being here.
All right, thank you, Dawson. Welcome, everybody. I am Kurt Anderson. Amanda mentioned that she had her summer of teenagers. I've had 22 years of them. I work as a literacy coach in teaching, supporting 13 schools, 10,000 students, and 1,000 plus staff members. And I use EFT every day to manage the stuff that comes along with that and the stress that comes along with that to be the best person I can in my day-to-day life. And the organizational stuff that it takes to make that happen, I then take and I apply to the certification program to produce the best educational experience that I can possibly help assist with. I couldn't have done it without Dawson collecting all the 48 techniques, writing the EFT manual, and then all I've done is add some organizational structures on top of it and connected a community of teachers and mentors who are ready, willing, and excited to assist you on your personal EFT journey. So I am going to go over everything in certification really, really quickly, but I want to start and I want to end with what I feel is the most important part of EFT certification, and that is the community that we create within this certification. You are looking to attend an online educational experience. And I know every other online educational experience I've had has felt very alone. Like there's things out there, but I don't feel connected to people. That will not be the case when you join certification. You are going to feel connected. We really, really value community, and we put structures in place to make sure that you have the opportunity to meet people. And I constantly talk to new certified practitioners, and they have people that they have connected to that are their lifelong friends now that they have made within EFT certification. You can build those connections at our twice monthly calls. We have regularly scheduled calls twice a month where people, live human beings that you can meet with and talk with, people who are like-minded, who are interested and who are studying the same things you are, run by mentors and trainers who are experienced in this technique and who are passionate about teaching it. We have 6 total workshop days that you will attend that are included with your tuition. These are full educational days, and we do not have any educational stuff here that does not involve active application of the things that we do. So you will be in breakout rooms, you will be meeting people, you will be exchanging emails, you'll be exchanging phone numbers, you'll be connecting with people on a very, very deep level as you help them work through the issues that they're going through in their life and as they help you work through those same issues. There's also a Facebook group. I think we have like 900 plus people on there. We don't have 900 students. We just can't get rid of them. All right. They join the Facebook group and they will not leave the Facebook group, and we don't kick them out. We want them to stay because we want that strong community of resources and people who can reach out to one another and support one another. So I want to make sure that I lead with community, and I will also end with community. But there's the meat in the middle. So let me share my screen and let's discuss what you're going to learn in certification. All right. So you're going to begin by learning about in module 1, which is the genetics of personal transformation. In this module, you're going to learn about epigenetics, and this is based on Dawson's book, Genie in Your Genes. Epigenetics is just the outer and inner environment and how it impacts your biological expression. And the reason you want to learn that is so that you can explain how EFT can be used to change your thoughts, which changes your emotions, which connected to an issue, which has a scientifically validated impact upon your biological expression. So you can talk about the science behind changing the way you think and the way you feel and what it actually does for you when you're explaining EFT to somebody else. You'll then move into the practice module 2, which is the practice of energy psychology and EFT. In this, you're going to learn all the science behind EFT and energy healing. So that way you can make a logical argument and you can speak intelligently to a variety of different professionals about EFT and about energy work. You get the background knowledge for all 48 of these clinical EFT techniques. So that way you'll be able to go into the live workshops that we have, and you'll be able to succeed in those live workshops and put your new knowledge into practice. You'll also be prepared to know the relevant research behind EFT and be able to talk about those double-blind placebo-controlled trials and how they've impacted energy psychology work and EFT and made them legitimate parts of helping people move forward in their life. We'd be remiss if we did not address professional ethics, and we do that in module 3. It gives you the legal and ethical boundaries of energy healing professionals. It helps with healthy relationships with clients, and it helps you to interact with doctors, psychiatrists, and other medical professionals in a professional manner. And so it sets you up to be a high quality professional operating in this space. Module 4 goes into the psychology of coaching and gives you the science of personal change. It gives you different coaching and questioning approaches to work with clients, and it teaches you how the opportunities to combine EFT with coaching for a variety of clients, those who are struggling to change and those who are seeking peak states, who really want to accelerate their life. You can use that with EFT as well. Once you've done those first 4 online modules, then you get into what I think really separates this program, and that is the art of delivery, and that is our mentoring portion. At this portion, you are assigned a one-on-one mentor who will personally guide you to apply EFT in your sessions. You will do 40 sessions as a practitioner in training. Your mentor will read your session notes for all 40 of those and give you individualized feedback and answer your one-on-one questions. So there is a live human being who is experienced in this, who will guide you from attending the workshops to being a confident certified practitioner. I challenge you to find another personal live support like that in another certification program. If it exists, I'm not aware of it, and I am so proud to be a part of the mentoring and the mentor community that supports our EFT practitioners as they go on. This alone is so, so valuable. I can't express to you how important the mentoring is. Within the mentoring, you'll learn the fundamentals of EFT and how to get specific. You'll learn gentle techniques for how do you deal with trauma and get people in a place where they're able to address those things. You'll learn about the professional practice, and you'll do practice sessions where we put you in situations that people typically pay for sessions. These are the things that people want to work on, and we make sure you are experienced in the highest leverage situations. So that way, when somebody talks to you and you're a new practitioner and says, I really want to work on goal setting, and I want to work on how to get there, but I'm stuck. Have you ever worked on that? And you will say, yes, I have. I really want to work on cravings and I can't let go of chocolate at night. Have you ever worked on that? And you'll be able to say, yes, I have. I want to work on physical issues and physical pain and the emotions that come with it. Have you ever done that? And you'll say, yes, I have. Because we're going to make sure that you are prepared for all the typical situations as you walk into your new life as a practitioner. You're also going to be exposed to the energy trauma and healing module, where you learn to work with psychological trauma and PTSD and how to work specifically with traumatized clients using energy work, so you will not feel overwhelmed no matter what situation you get in as a practitioner. And then finally, I want to end with that community again. All right. So I want to tell you that we're going to have those twice monthly calls. They're regularly scheduled and they're at a varied time, so you can hopefully attend no matter where you are in the world. If you're unable to attend, we post the replays of every single call to our course. And all the calls are on the topics I just mentioned in mentoring, to deepen the depth and the breadth of your knowledge. Right? There's going to be breakout rooms where you're going to connect with other people and you're going to share your information and you're going to make connections. You're going to attend a 4-day professional skills workshop where you learn the 48 techniques, and you will be able to connect with people there. Live trainers, live participants, emotional assistants who are certified practitioners. You are not alone in this, and you will not be alone in this. And then there's a 2-day practice intensive as well. It's 2 straight days of live practice of EFT tapping that occurs later on in the certification program, to make sure if you haven't encountered something in those 40 sessions you do as a practitioner in training, we're going to prepare you for it in that one as well. So this is a very well thought out, very detailed educational experience, but really what I want to leave you with is it begins and it ends with us. You will not be alone when you go through this. You'll be with Dawson, you'll be with me, you'll be with our outstanding group of mentors, and most importantly, you'll be with one another. And I think that's a very good place to leave off. Dawson, I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, I just can't tell you how many people have made lifelong friends in the certification program, because you're going through it with like-minded people, and occasionally people in certification have big life challenges. Like one of them had her mother who was very, very sick, and actually had to put her certification on hold for several months, taking care of her mother. And people just came together to support her and make sure she was able to handle the stressors of that time. So you'll find a highly supportive community of human beings. You'll hear from a few of them in a moment, and again, we'll have lots of time to answer questions. And I want to just mention one more thing before I turn this over to Amanda to talk about the payment plans and the financial costs of it. I want to just mention what happens with your health. And this is a radical benefit of certification. We've measured the physiological states of people as they take our classes, as they take our courses, as they move through the certification process. And one of the benefits of those classes is that your body functions a lot smoother and your brain is tuned in a remarkable way when you do them. And according to a key study published in the Journal of Evidence-Based Integrative Healthcare, if you go look it up online, it's Journal of Evidence-Based Integrative Healthcare, we showed that over a week of doing this intensively, that people's baseline cortisol, your main stress hormone, your master hormone, controlling all kinds of genes, hormones, and other biological processes, the baseline of that stress hormone in 1 week dropped 37%. Take a deep breath and think about that your baseline stress hormone level drops 37% in 1 week. So you feel much better. All kinds of other good things happen. That same study found that people's baseline heart rate, which is an excellent general measure of health, your heart rate. Athletes, people in peak physical condition have lower heart rates. Heart rates dropped by 8% in only that 1 week. Blood pressure dropped as well in that 1 week, also by 8%. And what really rose a lot because when cortisol goes down, all kinds of beneficial hormones and neurotransmitters and molecules go up. The level of immune function, immunoglobulins, these molecules that protect your body against viruses and bacteria, immunoglobulins went up. As cortisol went down, immunoglobulins went up 113%. They more than doubled in that week. And you can read the full study there, but that's what's been shown by class after class after class of people doing this work. Clinical EFT produces serious upgrades to your biology as well as your psychology and your life. So before I turn this over to Amanda, we'll do one more quick round of tapping. Pull out your favorite tools over here, fingertips. And let's tap on, wow, this sounds incredible. And it takes a year. Kurt's run through this with me. It takes a year. It's going to take a year of my time to do this. It's going to cost me several $1,000s. And I'll have to work with a mentor. I'll have to take classes. They're all virtual. I don't leave my home, but their time, their money. It's a commitment. Now, it's a huge benefit to me, but it's also a really big commitment. Is it right for me? Tune into your body and just feel any kind of discomfort you might feel when you ask, is it right for me? Is it right for me? And do you feel anything in your throat, chest, forehead, shoulders? Okay, tune into that feeling. This sounds great. I know it has all these benefits, but I feel this feeling in my body. I don't know if it's right for me. Is it right for me? I feel this feeling in my body. I'm not sure. Tap on the top of your head, governing meridian. Feel that feeling in your body as you tap. Is it right for me? Eyebrow points. Is it right for me? Intuitively, what is my intuition telling me? What fears do I have? I feel my fears. I respect my fears. And I'm in touch with my intuition. And I release all the barriers to being in touch with my highest good and making wise decisions. On your arms, I release those barriers. And intuitively, I will know whether or not this is right for me. Now, take a deep breath, tune back in. The chances are that squirrely feeling in your gut or your forehead has probably gone down quite a bit. And EFT does help you reduce those barriers and get in touch with your intuition and make much, much better decisions. So Amanda, go ahead and cover the costs and the payment plans with us.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get you some answers. First, I do want to say thank you so much to Kurt and Dr. Church. It's always such a gift to hear directly from the both of you and to get to do tapping with Dr. Church. Now, Dr. Church hasn't had a personal practice of tapping clients for years now due to the demands on his time. So it's really special to get to do direct tappings with him. It's typically only in this setting, as a student, that anyone gets that anymore. So feel special. This is a special thing you get to do tonight. It's something that you can even pay 10 grand to get to do. He only makes time to do that for his students. Now you are probably starting to really grasp why this is the most popular EFT certification program. But the brag that I want to point out, and Kurt kind of touched on it, but I really want to emphasize it by asking you a question. Have you ever bought courses that you never completed? If you have, you're part of a very large club. Even colleges like the institutionalized, the big campus colleges have done research on how many people actually complete, and their completion number is 12.6%. So finishing something that you start in this type of setting is it's risky. But Kurt's his specialty in education is allowing the teaching material to present in a way for the person receiving it to absorb it and to be able to continue. So we're really very, very lucky to have his brain organizing our information in our particular certification program. There are so many different aspects of how this is set up for you to succeed, even beyond what you've heard tonight. We are going to drop the link for enrollment into the chat right now. Our wizards behind the curtain are going to drop that into the live chat, so look for that. And as a bonus for being here tonight, for taking time out to spend time with us, we're going to offer you a special gift as a way of saying thank you. If you enroll in certification by midnight tonight, and that specific time here on our coast, you are going to be given an entire course called Manifest More with Meditation. Now that will be emailed separately to you after your enrollment is processed. It'll be two separate entities. It's an entire course that's based from a workshop that Dr. Church no longer does. So you literally can't get it anywhere else other than tonight. What it does is it explains clinically proven effects on our bodies, our cells, from our energy, our focus. So it gives you a little bit more of that science that you can lean on, as well as 7 meditations that attune your body to optimum health and a mindset to create a ripe opportunity for what you want to manifest. It pairs beautifully with certification. It's a huge value. And if we did sell it, it would be selling for hundreds of dollars, but you can't even purchase this right now. The only way you can get it is right here in enrolling in certification by midnight tonight. So let's go ahead and get down to the numbers, because I know that's what you're probably waiting on. So the cost of this certification, of everything that we've outlined for you, is $4,999. That's it for all of that juicy information, for all of that interaction and that year-long support bridge that you receive from beginning to certified practitioner, $4,999. There are multiple ways that you can achieve payment for this. Now, the most popular is all at once, because there's no fees or anything associated with that. We have made another option where there are no fees associated. It's our second most popular choice, and that is where the payment is split into 2. So we just chop it right down the half, and you make the first payment, and then the next payment automatically goes 30 days later. And you'll see these options lined out for you on the purchase page as you click on that link to go enroll. So half now, half in 30 days, still no fees attached to it at all. As well as those, we have our monthly payment plans. Now, the way that's set up, there is a little bit of a fee every single time. So that total per month comes to $459, which over the span of time comes to $5,508. But again, that's over the course of your whole certification process. So if you pay in full or half and half in 30 days, you do save over $500, which is kind of like getting a whole month of payments for free. But our monthly payments are there to support you in whatever way you need to be able to succeed in this way. And as I said, all these options are laid out for you on the enrollment page. You don't have to memorize anything that I'm telling you right now. And if you have any additional questions on that, drop them in the chat, or you can also schedule a call with an admission advisor. If you have questions, that link is also on the certification enrollment process. We take all major credit cards. We accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, JCB, Diners Club, China Union Pay, debit cards, and PayPal. We've got as many options as we could possibly include, because we want to support you in every possible way to be able to succeed in enrolling. So get in touch with us, go check out that link, click through, and choose whatever payment option works best for where you are at this time.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And just things like the health upgrades you get. I mean, that 37% drop in cortisol, 113% rise in immunoglobulins. What's that worth to you? That's worth a lot more than $5,000. And just the mentoring you get alone is worth more than the cost of the course. The classes you get, the 4-day intensive and also the practice intensive you do later on, the 2-day workshop, those are powerful. The community is powerful. We're, as you can tell, we're passionate about this, and we're also passionate and committed to seeing you succeed. So we're going to now, in the next 5 minutes, give you a quick sense of what people experience in certification. And then we're going to go to question and answer. We have quite a few questions ready to answer. And Kurt, I'm going to ask you to answer most of those because they're in your wheelhouse. And so these were videos that actually we shot just 2 months ago at one of our live events. So let's go ahead and play those now.
Hi, I'm Diane, and I am also in the Clinical Practitioner Training course. And I'm very pleased to be here to learn about myself and practice techniques for my own health and well-being, as well as begin my journey healing others. And it's wonderful to be here and meet so many nice people. Really enjoyed it and highly recommend the class, the course, and EFT.
All my entire life, I've been wondering if there was anything that could help people overcome the damages they suffered in childhood. The first time I've heard of a technique that claims to be able to address it. So that's like miraculous to me. Mm-hmm. So that's all I have to say, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, very exciting.
My life has changed through the work of listening and being in the workshop. I'm in the certification program. And like I said, I was planning to bring this back to my agency, but I found a whole other piece to myself. The fact that I'm giving this testimonial today is something I would have never have done or been able to do prior to this workshop. The first day here, I had so much anxiety. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't really concentrate. It's been absolutely amazing what I've learned about energy psychology, EFT, and really the importance of bringing this to everyone out in the world. It's an amazing technique. It's an amazing program.
I'm very much an introvert, and yet everyone here is so wonderful. And with the processes we've gone through, I've really felt myself opening up and really connecting with people. So that's been a big aha and a big gift. I'm in the certification program. I really need to concentrate on self-work first in order to be able to hold the space that I'm going to need for my clients. So that's another wonderful gift.
My name is Leslie Stott. I need to start tapping, but it is emotional for me because there's a lot of love here. And you can feel it from the other people that are here taking the course. And that's been very nurturing for me. I love that Dawson's course is so well put together.
Hello, I'm JT, also known as John Toth. My certification path. This is the best investment of my time and treasure and talent. I've been involved in spiritual and personal development growth actually from the time that I was a youngster. EFT has already helped me break up some patterns that I've had repeatedly over most of my life. So I'm very grateful and encourage you to seriously consider it.
I'm Jackie, and I'm an executive and organizational coach. And when I found EFT tapping, I got to complete transformational issues that I've been dealing with for 17, 18 years. This is a perfect integration to take to my clients that will transform who executives and managers could be for their organizations and for the world, and what they can deliver as people who are bringing industry into life in a mindful, sustainable, life-giving way, rather than the one-sided making money out of business that's been traditional. And I just have this love for this work that I couldn't even have imagined, and just been wondering where it's been all my life. Taking EFT to executives and organizations and having people be for each other. Like, it's the we-ness of organizations. It's the taking care of Earth. We've got to be sustainable to have our planet survive. EFT opening up our brains to just envision who the we-ness, the oneness is in the world.
Hi, my name's Susan. I really believe that this is such a positive tool for transformation. It enables you to go to deep issues that you may have worked through for therapy intellectually, but that you haven't been able to get out of your system. I really, want to encourage anybody that wants to change themselves, get rid of old stuff, get rid of all those thoughts in your head, process them through, and go through the process. It's not just about learning a skill set that you can turn into something that could be economically viable as a profession, but you're transforming yourself.
So as you can see, those are members of our community. Those are the kinds of people you'll be going through certification with. Those are the kinds of people you'll be supporting, who'll be supporting you. This is a magnificent life adventure. So we'd like to answer any questions you have. Drop them into the comment box. We have quite a few already. And Kurt, maybe you go ahead and start.
All right, I'm going to take the ones that I've got so far, and I'll take them one at a time. So the first one, can we start anytime? We have you start at 2 different times of the year. This first one has until October 28th, I believe, is the enrollment date. And then we do another one in April with a beginning in May. We do those things purposely, so that way we keep that sense of community. We want you all together. So you've got this one until the rest of October, and you got another one coming up in April, which would begin in May, but we do that for a specific reason for the community. Let's see. Practice clients outside of school, is there guidance on how to find practice clients? I can tell you that I've guided like personally 30, 40, 50 people through certification, and I've trained 10 plus mentors who have done as many numbers as that. And there has never once been a person who has not completed certification because they could not find practice clients. It has never been a problem, right? So there's many ways to get people to practice on. The first way you can do it is by connecting with people at the workshops and the live calls and trading sessions. That's a beautiful way in which to do it. Lots of people do that, and everybody's very enthusiastic about it. We have a Facebook group, like I said, of over 900 plus people. You can post on there that you're offering sessions, and people will sign up and they'll show up to support you as well. So that's another one. And then as you learn about EFT, and as you go through the progress, and as you attend our progress calls, we have 4 of those a year to guide you through the certification progress as well, which I forgot to talk about. The first thing I'm going to have you do at one of those calls 3 months in is I'm going to teach you how to start talking about EFT to the people around you. And you'll start speaking to EFT to acquaintances and to friends and to family members. And you might find a lot of clients through your social circles that you currently have. Whatever you do, do not let a fear of being able to find practice clients stop you from enrolling in this. Because like I said, I have yet to find the person that did not complete certification because they couldn't find anybody to work with. Once people hear about tapping, and more importantly, experience it, they want it. All right. And so you will find people to work with. Let's see. I'd like to find more people than just friends and family. Not sure about having an online presence just yet. You don't need an online presence just yet. In certification, you don't need an online presence, but there are lots of people with online presences in certification in the Facebook group that are mentors, that are part of the certification program. And so you will pick things up along the way, and you'll be guided along the way. And part of our work that you do in the certification is personal work. So if there's any fears about putting yourself out into the world and being publicly available online, those are very, very tappable things. And I know that personally, because that was one of the things that I went through when I got certified. So like, I'm certified, I'm a certified practitioner, I have a private practice, you know, so like I've gone through everything that you're going through and probably a little bit worse because I was, you know, I had a lot of things to work through when I was going through my certification, but I feel like I've come through the other side just like you will. Do you have to do you have to wait to work with clients until you attend the 4-day professional skills training? Yes, we do recommend that you do that. We recommend that you complete the first 2 modules of certification and complete the 4-day professional skills training before you start working with practice clients, because that 4-day professional skills training is where you start to get to really practice in a structured and supportive environment with a mentor and with a trainer and emotional assistants who are always mentors to guide you in your application. So it's a very safe environment. It's a very supportive environment, and you get to practice in little bitty chunks until you are ready to put it all together in the longer sessions. And you will be ready for that when you leave the 4-day professional skills training, and then you get connected with a mentor who will support you as you build your skills the whole way around. So we do recommend that you wait, but you don't have to wait that long. Yeah, it's not that long. You could be ready in less than 3 months for sure, and like maybe even 6 weeks. It says we are part of discussion groups and have a profile on the platform so clients can find us at the end. Is there a fee? No. If you certify through EFT Universe, you can post your practitioner profile on the website. It gets lots and lots of hits, and there is no fee associated with that whatsoever. That's part of your tuition. Once you're certified, once you earn certification through EFT Universe, you get all the perks of being a certified practitioner, and that includes posting a practitioner profile to the website. Let's see, general questions about in-person trainings. We do offer 2 different in-person trainings per year, and then everything else is virtual via Zoom. So if you really want to connect with people, there are options to do that in person. And there are also options if travel is a restriction, or if like your schedule's a thing, like everything's virtual. I will say that I've been to the virtual 4 days and 2 days. I've been to the in-person 4 days or in-person 2 days and virtual 2 days. They are both very different experiences, but they're both rooted and grounded in the exact same content and educational application. So you are going to get the same thing irregardless of what you do. You're going to get to practice the same things irregardless of which one you choose and which one happens. They are both very effective. It's just a different experience being live or in person, and to each their own. But I stand firmly behind each of the different applications for those workshop options. Questions about renewing, continuing education classes. Let's see. Our 4-day professional skills workshop does come with the option for continuing education credits if you're a medical professional, because we're certified through the American Medical Association. So if that's what you're asking about, that is something that's offered. If what you're asking about is continuing with like your education beyond certification, let's talk about that when once you're completed with certification. I think we're putting the cart before the horse here if we get too deep in the woods. When do we do the 40 cases that are reviewed by our mentor? Where do your clients come from? We've addressed that. Do we find them ourselves? Yes, you do. But like, there's so much support that it won't be an issue. The 40 cases are broken up into 4 different modules of 10. And they occur when you get into mentoring, which is the 5th module in certification, after you attend your 4-day professional skills training. And then you will meet with a mentor who will guide you through all the expectations of the sessions, and you'll do them at that point in time where you are a practitioner in training. So it will be a little bit into certification. It's a self-paced course, so I can't tell you the exact timeline, but You will be able to do it relatively quickly, and you will be supported when it happens, and you will get one-on-one feedback from that mentor on all those cases, which is extraordinarily valuable. My stress solution, is that the platform that I would put my profile on and how clients find practitioners? That is one of the platforms that you can put your profile on to find clients. The other one is just through the website as well. So you can do both of those things, and they're both available for you, and they're both options. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Will EFT Universe provide the practice clients, or we need to find them ourselves? You will find them yourselves, but you will find them through the support of EFT Universe, and it will not be an issue whatsoever. So don't worry about that. Is there any course material we get to keep for later after we review the class? Oh, this is a good question. You get, once you enroll, you get a login to our Ultimate EFT Certification course. Everything that I just outlined is on that course, including the live calls and all the live call replays we've been doing for multiple years since I've been involved. If you complete your certification in the timeline provided and remain a practitioner in good standing, then you retain access to that course for the entire time that you're a practitioner. So every piece of information, every resource, every live call that you experience during certification is always there for you to go back to at any point in time. And every live call that we do afterwards, and believe me, I just planned 3 of them today with a group of 12 people who are extremely interested in EFT and really getting nuanced understanding to you. Those you can attend as long as you would like, and as long as you'd like to be there for as long as you're a certified practitioner. So it does not end when you graduate. We're not just trying to get you out and get a new group in. We want you to stay. We want to interact with you, and we want you to continue with us. Let's see here. I want to get crystal clear for our practice. We can swap sessions with other people in training, but any other client we need to find ourselves. Yes, you can swap sessions with other people in training, and anybody else you want to work with, you will find yourself. But like I said, that will not be a problem. I have never once experienced that somebody didn't complete because they couldn't find practice clients. And we're talking about over 1,000 people that I've seen graduate at this point in time. It will not be an issue. The info page notes 15 hours of personal work. Can you explain that, what that means? Yes. We ask you to go through a personal work process as part of your training to become a practitioner, because that's how you really learn, and that's how you experience. That's one of the ways that you learn, is to experience EFT. So we ask you to do 15 hours of personal work in any evidence-based modality. And so that cannot just, that can be EFT, it can be other things. At EFT Universe, we recognize that we do not have a monopoly on healing. There are other people who are doing wonderful things, and we want you to experience those as well, because then you can bring them into your practice. But we do ask that you do 15 hours of personal work. So if you're trading sessions with another person and you do a session yourself, and then you give them a session, well, one of those is your personal work session. So it's no additional cost to you to do your personal work. You can do them all through training. All of our mentors, who are very well trained and seasoned practitioners, have discounted rates for sessions just specifically and only for EFT students. So if you want to work with one of our experienced and trained mentors like me, like anybody else that you're going to meet later on, they will have discounted rates for you. Those are an option that are available for you as well. Oh, here's an excellent question. On average, how many hours per week do people typically dedicate to the course materials? I like to explain it to people that you are, for the next 12 months, you are taking what is the equivalent of 2 college courses for the rest of the year. All right. So if you're taking 2 college courses, you're going twice a week for 45 minutes, right? For 2 classes, that's an hour and a half. And then you probably got at least double that, like double to triple that for homework, right? So about 4 to 6 hours per week. If you dedicate 4 to 6 hours per week every week, then you will complete your certification in 12 months. Now, we also recognize that life happens to adults, right? So we also offer a free, no strings attached, whenever you want it, you can apply for a 6-month extension. So we give you a free extra 6 months. So we design it as a 12-month program, but because life happens, we have an extra 6 months that is just there for you to utilize should you need it. And it's a no questions asked, free, nothing, no cost to you extension. So you have 12 months, but you've actually got 18 months, and we won't even kick you out after 18 months. If you want to continue after that, we can give you an additional 6 months. There is an associated fee with that for like maintaining a certification program in a business, but you can do it in 12 months, given 4 to 6 hours, and we will support you with an additional 6 months should you need it. No questions asked. We completely understand that life happens. All right. I am not seeing any more questions pop in the comment docs. Is there anything else, or I'm going to turn it back to Dawson?
Yeah,
all right,
feel
Dawson,
free to
I think
drop
it's yours,
questions
man.
in there, and we'll also drop a link in too, where you can talk to a mentor or an admissions advisor as well if you have other questions too. And just a word about our practitioner listings. So EFT Universe is a giant website, one of the top alternative medicine websites on the web. We get about 50,000 visitors a month, and many of those go to the practitioner listings. So just being up there is going to expose you to a lot of people. Our newsletter goes out to about 250,000 people. We have a huge mailing list, and we feature stories from our practitioners there. We run a continuous Facebook and Google ad campaign, and we're starting one this month, for example, for our stress solution app as well. And so I'm on about 5 podcasts a week and directing all of those people, hundreds of thousands of people a year, to EFT Universe to find practitioners and to take advantage of the courses there. So we have this massive ongoing marketing program, getting people to the site and to the practitioner listings. So once you're up there, and once you're doing clinical EFT, I don't think you have to worry too much about finding clients. So let's just wrap this up now with one final round of tapping. And so let's just tune in again to our intuition, what our bodies are telling us, feelings in our body. And again, sleight of hand first, and just knowing what's right for us. As you can tell, we're wildly enthusiastic about about life, about life, about training, about certification, about you and the people around you. We care deeply. And so we would love to see you be part of this community. We'd love to welcome you to this community if it's right. And as they talk to people who are in the program, they say, I knew. I didn't need convincing. My heart told me. So if your heart's telling you now, that's the sign you need. Listen to your intuition. So let's tap over here on the sleight of hand point and tune into your intuition. Also give some thought to what your next year might be like. If you see all these benefits in your life, in your financial life, in your health. And then think about also if you make the choice not to do this. So you could do this, you could do certification, you could not do certification. And what might your life look like in a year if you keep on the path you're on now? Just imagine yourself in a year. Now imagine yourself in 10 years. If you keep on the profession you're in now, doing what you do now, what does your life look like in 10 years? Who are you? What do you see around you in 10 years? If you don't do this, if you keep on your current path. And then release. any obstacle to hearing your intuition. Tap on the top of your head, releasing any and every obstacle to your intuition, to your highest good, to knowing what's best for you, to knowing your highest path in life, to expressing your full potential, letting all those barriers go. Who might I be in a year if I let all my barriers go? Who might I be in 10 years? What will my life look like in 10 years if I release those barriers, if I tune in to my highest good and I allow it to flow into every part of my life? And I accept myself just the way I am. And I release any barrier to being fully in tune with my intuition. Take a breath. And just congratulate yourself. You're here, you're focused, you're opening up new possibilities in your life just by being here on this webinar with us. I know from having watched thousands of people do this that you have a glorious future ahead of you. There is the you that goes along the path you're now. And when you go along the path of stress reduction, to optimizing your health, to having an affluent lifestyle, to finding clients, to work with people that are benefiting from your services, to being part of this amazing community that you've had some taste of in this webinar, that's the possibility for you. So we'd love to welcome you into certification. And one thing you can do, if you're still uncertain, you can make an appointment with a mentor, an admissions advisor, and they'll answer your questions if you have any further questions. But you probably know at this point, pretty much all of us know about certification. We've tried to cover all the bases, we've answered all your questions, and we'd love to invite you to be part of this ongoing, amazing ongoing community of healing, of goodwill, of compassion, of high energy, of passion for healing with us. It's been a joy. It's been a delight. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.